Hey guys, welcome to the American Crime After Show here at theStream.tv. I'm your host, Drexel Heard, here with Mercedeh Allen, Meghan Lamontagne, and Jack Hind over there. What an incredible episode here today. So we're going to get right to it. What did you guys think of the episode in one word?
Start with me.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
So that no one else can take over.
Yeah, so no one can take mine.
Right.
So I was going to say it was emotional.
Emotional, that's good. Mercedeh?
Ooh. My word wasn't really descriptive. It was more like my reaction, which is wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good.
Okay, yeah.
Jack?
Intense. And the only reason I say that is for my man Tom Carlin. Just damn, dude.
P.S. Follow Jack on Twitter.
Yes, please.
Please, W.O. Brown, follow Jack. I thought the entire, my word is graphic because there was a lot of graphic things in this episode.
And that's ambiguous as
And
well.
Meghan,
because
if you
graphic,
guys look,
emotional.
If you don't know me from the other after shows, I'm not good with blood. So there were multiple times I had to turn away and I'm like, you guys, I'm going to hit the floor. I'm going to hit the floor.
That is so
We were like explaining to her what was happening and it still didn't work.
She was like, I
coming
can't
out
watch
of
it.
the
I don't know
throat. She
what's
was
happening.
like,
no blood.
So let's get right into our favorite characters on the show. We're going to actually start with Carter and Aubry this time because this is a very Carter heavy episode. We'll start with Aubry first. She starts the episode out kind of in AA meetings because she has to. Her foster parents kind of require her to go to these meetings. Did you guys feel like she was not invested? Like she just really was not invested in this process
at all.
No, Aubry, get it together. Like seriously, I mean, we want to root for Aubry, but we can't if you don't want to get better.
Yes.
Jack is about Aubry. Jack is a rooting for Aubry.
I just like the character. I think Caitlin Gerard does a great job of portraying Aubry. I think she's a brilliant actress, and I've said that from the beginning. But now I'm getting to the point as well where it's like, come on, Aubry, we're trying to. It's like same with Barb. It's like Barb, everyone's trying to help you, but you're just being a cow.
Well, she's just
like,
yeah, she's just so obsessed with her world of like love and like drugs, and I just feel like
can we get that? Love and drugs.
and drugs. But like, you know, I just feel like you have to. I'm not against love. I think love is great, but I just feel like you need to be your own person first, and she's just latching onto Carter like way too much.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And one of the interesting things that I know somebody brought up on Twitter, I think it was Writer Girl, she said that Aubry probably came from this really great background. She probably came from this really great family. And we saw that. We met her foster family this afternoon, or tonight's episode, met her mom, met her brother, and they really are invested in her future. And she doesn't really seem to be getting that, you know, and
Yeah, I mean, and they say, you know, to be in a healthy relationship, to make 100%, each person has to be 100%.
right.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
yeah,
not
It feels
gonna
like
work.
they're 50% of each other almost.
Right.
Like literally, Aubry can't live without Carter, and Carter can't live without
And both
Aubry.
of them are
Yeah.
obsessed with each other. They're obsessed. They don't know how to get outside of. They're in their bubble, and they don't really know what's happening all around them.
Right.
And there was a scene where Carter starts to talk to Aubry on the phone. Do you feel like Carter? That Aubry is more obsessed with Carter than Carter is obsessed with Aubry because he hung up that phone without responding to her I love you.
I thought that, but then when Carter was later talking to his sister, he was like, I love her.
But do you feel like he's trying to say that?
Anyone who says Aubry,
I think he can't talk to her right now. I think he's got nothing.
Right.
Like I said, he hasn't really got anything else.
Or do you think he's trying to convince himself that he loves her?
No, I think that Carter loves
I think he misses
Aubry.
it
I
like
mean,
crazy.
he in the courtroom, he just kept looking back. I'm
he
like,
winked
turn
at her.
around. What are you looking at? Like, you need to focus on getting out.
I see what you're saying though. Do you think he's teasing?
Do you think
No.
he's just trying to, like, you know,
For what?
his sister doesn't believe they're in love, so he's just trying to prove everybody wrong that he actually loves her?
What,
Like, that's the way
there's
that
been
I
no
feel.
signs that have shown that he does not love Aubry.
Well, the one thing I want to know is what does Carter have before Aliyah, his sister? What did Carter have before that? Caitlin does have her foster family to go
Aubry.
back to. Sorry, Caitlin's the actress,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. Aubry does have her family to go back to, whereas Carter doesn't. What does Carter have besides Aubry?
Right.
Have we seen anything else right now?
But now I feel like there's an ultimatum on
Drugs.
the table.
Right.
You know, there's an ultimatum.
Speaking of Aliyah, though, Regina King, who actually directed the Scandal episode right before that, which I thought was really great. Yeah, she directed the episode before that. We find out the big bombshell in Carter's case is that the bullet doesn't actually match the gun that they found on Carter.
And there was no semen found.
There's no
inside
right.
of
So,
Gwen.
because we already knew that Gwen wasn't really
Well, they
raped.
said it wasn't his semen.
Right.
I think there was semen.
That
So-
word is just so weird.
Now,
So just for
Semen.
everybody's kind of peace of mind, just in
such a
case folks are
child.
confused, bail was set at $1 million with a $100,000 bond. That just means that he can get out, and that prosecutors are still going to press charges against him. He just will be able to go roam around and do what he.
Well, they have
wants
their
to do.
boundaries on them,
Right.
don't they? When they've got
Absolutely.
their ankle
Probably
bracelets
house
on.
arrest.
And
But do you think that this is going to affect Aubry now? Because I feel like his sister Aliyah was giving an ultimatum, like, I'm not going to give you this bond and help you out unless you stop seeing her. I think that's what we're going to get to.
I
next.
think
and
what's-
if you turn Muslim.
The thing is,
She
Right,
wants him
right.
to
Yeah,
convert
that's
over.
right.
and I saw that a lot on Twitter where people felt like Aliyah is trying really hard to convert Carter into her Muslim faith. And this episode was very
I think she's doing it.
very heavy in showing America how the Islamic faith is portrayed,
Yes.
is done in
Yeah,
in this
like they're
country.
very persuasive or controlling. It seems like you have to be
But do you
this.
think- do you
She
think-
shouldn't
but do
hang
you
that
think
over
all-
his
Do
head.
you think all religions are like that?
I do.
Not all
I don't
religions. We
think
can't say
so.
religions because it's the term. We say the people who represent the religions
Yes.
can take it in different
Right.
ways. Yes.
I'm Christian, and when I go to church, I don't feel like they're pressuring anyone to convert.
I think
But
there's a
the
difference
people-
in
but the
being
Christians that you do
faithful
see-
and being a part of a
Yeah,
religion.
exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but I'm Christian. I
yeah.
see what you're saying.
We
Yeah.
definitely want to know what you guys are thinking about religion and all of these topics. So make sure you guys are shouting us out using the hashtag AmericanCrimeAS. All right, so now we're going to move on to Alonzo, Tony, and Hector, the Gutierrez kind of storyline. Alonzo's shop was vandalized at the beginning of the episode, and we talked about the words that were kind of written on the wall. It said
Sell out.
Pocho. I think that's what
Which
it
I
says,
learned
Pocho,
what
which
that meant
means,
today.
Americanized Mexican, and then it also says sellout. So we kind of see that Alonso's really going through a couple things, and they kind of symbolize a little bit. And we talked about it during the break when the white paint falls on him. It
Yeah.
kind of symbolized that
The way he
kinda
looked at
it,
himself.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The American Crime does such a good job with being symbolic, and we'll get to it, but there was another scene. We'll talk about it later. But Jack and I we were talking. The one with, I'll just go there.
I didn't even know what you guys were talking about.
No, the one with,
on the loop.
with what's her face?
Eve.
Gwen.
Gwen was the one.
When they were fighting, whatever. We'll get to Gwen, but when the camera was on Gwen
yes.
while the parents were fighting, it was
Yes,
very
yes.
Oh,
artistic.
yeah.
Wait, remind me what we're talking about.
We're talking about the Hector and we're talking
the
about
shop
Alonzo.
being
The shop
vandalized.
being
Oh,
vandalized.
right. Yes.
So then Tony, we find out he's in prison. He kind of gets coached into how to get out of this juvenile justice system. They tell him that he needs counseling. They'll release him because they think he's doing really well.
Good
So he gets
behavior,
out,
right?
but he gets past something. What do you guys think that he gets past right before he leaves?
Someone tweeted something. I wish I remembered it. It's that it was almost a joke about the American crime system, not the show, The American Crime System. The innocent go in, come out ready to commit a crime.
Ooh,
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
that's
I was like,
really
damn, dude,
what
that
it
was
was
pretty good.
suggesting. Someone passed him something, and we rewound it and tried to look at it again. I don't know if it was a note, money, or drugs. I don't think it would be
Directions or
drugs.
anything.
I don't
No.
think they would.
Because that
let
wouldn't
him
make
out.
sense for him.
Right.
Yeah, I
Tony
don't-
wants to be so anti his father that I feel like he will be
Rebellious.
he will continue on this path,
Yeah.
even with the counseling with the father. Hopefully, it doesn't happen like that.
Unless it's a
Right.
note that
I
the
don't.
person in the prison just wanted to get a message
You think
to
you
somebody.
thought somebody thought it was his phone number? I was like,
I did. It was like,
I don't know about that.
no, because it was kind of
Yeah.
like, nice to meet you. You know, I kind of helped you out.
Right.
If you ever
things are
need
like that
anything
in
else,
prison.
call me in prison, please. I don't.
well, he's probably gonna get out too. Shoot, he helped him get out.
Make sure you answer that collect call, please, when I call you out. And then we go on to Hector, who we haven't seen a lot of. I think Hector's storyline can just go. We don't
Yeah.
need Hector's storyline.
Yeah.
It's just an added thing that it's crazy.
I know
But
Meghan hates
he's still
it
trying to
with the blood.
he's still trying to rehabilitate himself through this process, but he already knows that he's going to get deported. So I don't know why he's trying to rush this process.
There's
personally.
something going on. I think there's something going on with Hector because this show is so well written that there's no reason for Hector to be pointless.
Right.
There's no reason for Hector's storyline so far to just get pushed out. This show
But
is
it
so
is.
specific in every single detail that everything that we've seen about Hector so far, I feel for Hector now. Because technically, this guy's done nothing. Like, if you think about it, in this scenario, all he did was drive the guy to the corner.
Well, he did that, and he stole the ID,
car?
and he paid for something in the first
Oh,
episode.
that's
He
true.
didn't say
He did.
he stole the ID.
But he
didn't
had
say
it
used
somehow.
I'm saying he had it.
He used
used
it. He had no
didn't.
idea how it was gotten, though. It's not like whoever killed him got in the car and was
I'm
like,
saying that he
I just
knew
killed this guy
he
and
did
used
something
it.
illegal. He used
Yeah.
somebody's card.
He
And
knew
the
that's
guy's
not
been
his
around
name.
drugs his whole life. Hector's like constantly been around drugs. He's constantly been around illegal stuff. Sorry. So as soon as somebody says, "Yeah, I've got this credit card. Go buy cool stuff," he's gonna go out and buy it. He doesn't care. Like that's not. He doesn't have those kind of ethics.
Right.
But now I feel like he's gotten to the point of where, like, he even said, like, he doesn't want to make any more trouble. He doesn't want to bring.
He doesn't
any more
because he
trouble
has
in.
all of these problems still back in Mexico. So he doesn't want to leave America because he's got problems back in Mexico, but he's not helping himself
Well,
out.
I mean, his storyline may be done. He might bleed to death for
That's very true. He ended up
If the
getting shot in
guards
the-
never come round and help, where are the guards
Right.
in this
He-
prison?
I know. That
But
was that was bad.
But I feel like there are no guards because they don't care. Is that how? Like, do you guys feel like that?
Yeah.
There's no guards around all these people.
Yeah,
because
but
they
that's
really
so
don't
messed
care.
up. Like, what about scenarios like that? What happens? They just let him die and bleed to death? I mean,
we kind of saw a little bit of that in the last episode where the doctor was talking to Hector, and he was like, "Well, how long do you think it's going to take me to help me rehabilitate myself?" And he was like, "I can speed up the process if you want to," really implying that I don't really care what happens to
Right.
you. And I think that that's the way that the guards kind of feel about all of
Right.
those folks in jail.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm wondering why they shanked him though. Like, I don't get what.
oh,
they,
because
I know, I don't either.
he got out of the gang, and
Yeah.
they thought that was whack. So they were like, "Oh, really? That's what you want to do?
You're gonna
Then
try and
fine.
leave us now?"
You're gonna leave us. You don't want to be with us. You're not team us.
A
Then
lot of gang violence. It's crazy. Just
Yeah.
that whole
Yeah.
kind of scenario is crazy. Now we've got our favorite characters, Barb, Russ, and the Carlins, Tom and Eve. A lot of things happening for them. The whole family's in shambles. Every family's in shambles.
Yes.
They're unraveling at every time they're on the screen. And Mark arrives. We finally meet Mark, Russ and Barb's other son, who comes back from the army. He seems to be a mama's boy, but he also wants the best for Barb and Russ.
Right.
So
maybe he just really agrees with what Barb feels.
I mean, he does,
Could be
but
that.
he also calls
think-
Russ. He doesn't even call
Oh,
him Dad.
true.
Yeah,
I
that
didn't
is
even
true.
notice that.
Right.
I
Good
did,
call.
Do you guys think that Mark has an agenda?
I think
Not
Mark
yet.
knows more. Again, I think obviously as we saw towards the end when he was speaking to Tom, I think Mark knows a lot more
He
about
does, but
his
do
brother.
you think there's a scene where he goes to visit Gwen? It goes back to what we said in the first episode. Do you think that something is going on
Between Mark and
and Gwen?
I wondered that. I wondered that.
I mean, he was.
That
it was
is
a very,
really
It was a
good.
very emotional situation for him when he walked
And
into
he went
that
in
room.
by himself.
Right.
He didn't
Yeah.
go with
No,
Barb.
he asked if his. That's because as soon as Barb said no, she didn't want to come in. I was like, Barb, you're.
He asked,
Lad.
but
Yeah, that's
I
true.
feel like
Yeah.
he didn't want her to be in that room. I mean, just the way that he went to touch her, and then he got interrupted by the doctor.
Ooh,
Eve,
you're
I'm
onto
sorry.
something.
Yeah,
I think
there's
you're
something
onto
else
something.
going
looking
on.
at it, but
Mark could have done something.
Yeah.
We find out that Gwen had relationships with a couple other guys.
Yeah.
So Gwen is not as innocent. I mean, we said that in the first episode. Gwen has a past that is not as rainbows and butterflies as we thought so in the first episode. And Tom seems to be fighting this.
Yeah.
He seems to be like broken up about this. And like you said, Earl Brown was so great in a lot of the scenes that he did.
It's just the harsh reality of it.
Right.
Yeah.
It hit him in this episode, man. Like he saw the photos of his daughter. Like I don't know why, but it just builds that up inside of me. I almost get emotional when I look. Like I never get emotional when I watch things, but when I see Tom's character, I'm like, it makes me not want a daughter. And I know that
Yeah.
sounds
Right.
terrible, but I couldn't even imagine if I was in his shoes and I was hearing that about my daughter,
We're reading that, absolutely.
I'd just crush my head and
Yeah.
just shut myself out.
Do you
from the
do you guys think that he should have read those? Because he says, I don't know if I should have read that stuff. Do you guys think that he should have?
In this case scenario now, he needs to know everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything.
It
so
might
that
be
afterwards
helpful.
he can go to his daughter and be like, you're a disgrace.
Well, he already feels that way.
She's in a
He told
coma.
us
I don't give a
why.
shit
Right.
if she's in a coma.
and
She's,
then-
if that was my daughter and I was that, and that was, if that was my daughter, I'd be like, who are you?
Right.
Who are you? That
No.
is not how your mother brought you up, and that is not how
Right.
Yeah,
I
but
brought
you
you
can't
up.
blame someone until they have the ability to speak, to stick up for
Can't stick up for
themselves.
themselves.
Yeah.
Well,
She was
there
holding
are
herself
there are
up.
definitely
Yeah,
a
but
lot.
we don't know that for, like, I mean, she's not.
Yeah,
in
we
the
have to let
picture.
her wake
you have
up
to let her
and
tell her story.
tell her
Like I
side.
agree with what you're saying, but until she tells her story, then it's
all
fair
yeah,
game.
It's all black and white.
What possible excuse can she have?
Well, there's a lot of secrets. We find out that, you know, Matt, the story that Gwen...
She read 50 Shades of Grey and was like, I need to try this.
The story that Barb has been telling everybody about Matt is not the story that is the true story. And Mark talks about that a little bit with Tom. So hopefully we'll find out a little bit more about Matt's past coming up in the next few episodes. And then the big bombshell at the end, Gwen wakes up.
Yes.
Bum, bum, bum.
So we're going to find out
gonna get
more from
exciting.
Gwen
Yes.
next week. So hopefully you guys stick around. But we're going to go to a commercial break here in a little bit. Make sure you guys stick around, join the chat room, answer your question. We will shout out to you here in just a few moments. We're going to go to commercial break. We'll see you in just a second.
Just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
Just in case you missed it live.
Oh, just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live, I'm doing something right now.
So we're all super excited.
So
this is dancing.
So what would that be, like a 7?
I cannot. I literally cannot. You guys have got to get it together.
Don't hate the player, don't hate the game. Hate the contract you didn't get.
He's a coward. He's a giant chicken shit.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's going to be like hurricane. Whoa.
Watch out for those girls. They are gagging them.
Hold the phone.
Hold on.
Bro.
That the more brutal you are, the more power you have.
Right.
That was sexy, it was hot, it was heated, I was into it.
You are gonna be the most high-paid hooker in the world.
Go ahead and invite your friends and everybody. Tell your mama, tell them, go ahead, turn the stove off and get up on the computer so we can get on the stream.tv.
Thank you again for joining us, and until next week, bye-bye.
Hey guys, we're back with the American Crime After Show here at theStream.tv. If you're watching, make sure you subscribe. And every week we will be watching all of your comments and tweets and Facebook posts all about the show. So make sure you're staying engaged with us because we will engage right back with you. We've got a couple of fan statements that we've pulled about the show. So the first statement comes from Stephanie at Stephanie M23, who says, from last week, Barb is definitely discriminating against minorities, but in my opinion, Regina King's character Aliyah is just as racist against white people.
IMO stands for in my
opinion.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I didn't know that
You learn something new every day.
Same as SMH.
Do you guys feel?
Same thing. Took me ages. Sorry.
Do you guys feel that? Do you guys feel that Aliyah is racist, or do you guys feel that she just feels that the system is so unjust that she has to kind of protect herself in some way?
I think her brother's getting harshed on so badly that she has to do. I think she's very, what's the word I'm looking for? She feels very strongly about her Muslim religion. And so I think that's another reason as well.
I don't think that she's racist.
But she's trying.
Do you think
I think that she just feels that Aubrey is not a good look for Carter in this situation.
I agree.
But also at the same
she's not
time,
racist.
Aubrey's parents think Carter's the same. Well, Aubrey's foster parents think Carter's the same, think Carter's bad in the situation.
I don't think it has anything to do
Yeah.
with black and white in this situation. I think it has more to do with the drug use, and then also, so say there was a white person, a white Muslim that went to her church, like she would be so accepting. You know what I mean? It's more of a religion thing for her.
I think that, and we all know that Barb is a little bit racist. I mean, there are some. She says
A
some
little
things-
bit
She
racist?
definitely
Barb
says
is
some things,
racist.
but it goes back to what I said before. I think she's so emotional about the whole thing that it's very hard to you know, she just says stuff. And
it still blows my
like even when
mind how
I'm sorry,
much
go
they
ahead.
wrote her, how much the writers
She's
have
so
written
good.
her so racist.
She's so good.
Yeah.
She's brilliant, don't get me wrong, but she is, her character, Barb, is a racist. End of story.
Right.
Yeah,
There is
when
nothing
she
that
was
says that
talking
makes
to the
sense.
nonprofit
Yes.
lady, and she said something about asking if the
She goes, was he
killer
black?
was black.
No, he
yeah.
wasn't black.
She's
Yeah.
definitely race first and ask questions later. She
Right.
doesn't care. And you can
Yeah.
see that in the denial part of that too, that she
100%.
doesn't really care. The whole family doesn't really care about the the facts. They
Not at
want
all.
somebody to blame.
Yes.
And they don't care,
Yeah.
but they really want the minorities to blame in,
Yes.
in everything. Okay, so we've got a couple of YouTube shout-outs.
We do. Okay, T. Michael Rodriguez, thank you so much for tuning in. I want to read one of his comments. He said that he doesn't think that Aubry and Carter met through drugs because Carter was using drugs when he was with his wife, and he left his wife for Aubry.
Oh.
Yes.
That was some
Which
good.
happened in the last episode. Which
Okay.
They mentioned in the last episode.
Okay.
I think that's really good.
Well, thank you for that, because that lit a light bulb for
Yeah,
me.
it's true. How did Aubry and Carter meet? Do we know?
we haven't talked
We
about
haven't found
that
out
yet.
yet.
We don't
I haven't
know.
found that out yet.
Interesting. I'd like to find
Anybody
out.
We don't know. Yes, and I would also like to shout out Melinda Hale.
Oh, my girl Melinda.
Thanks, Melinda.
We love you, Melinda. So Melinda also does the Vampire Diaries after show
And
with
the Walking
me,
Dead after
and the
show.
Walking Dead after show. She's the main
Melinda's
host for that.
popping.
So check out those after shows. We also have a couple of Twitter shout-outs to @WriterGirl47 and @HarleyB11. Thanks for tweeting at us every week and showing your support on Twitter. So we got a lot of stuff coming up this season. It's starting to heat up. It's starting to get so good. So make sure you're staying with us every week here at theStream.tv, American Crime After Show. And make sure you subscribe, and we will see you all next week.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
For more of the American Crime After Show, make sure you guys subscribe to theStream.tv.